35 like it's absolute shit because like it's such a great age.
35.
35.
35.
35. I thought 35.
35.
Oh my god! I fucking took out the wrong lighter. Jesus
I
fucking
saw that.
Christ.
You had a bag of lighters and you took out the one that didn't work.
Yeah. Okay. Like I didn't do that on purpose. I was just like. There
yeah.
we go.
Yeah. There you go. A lighter that works.
A lighter that works.
I want to thank the state of Missouri.
For what?
Just a shout out.
Shout out to Missouri?
Yeah.
Penn State.
Just going to thank the state of Missouri. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Cool. Thank you, Missouri. The only thing I know about Missouri is St. Louis and that weird, very weird arch thing that you can ride in, surprisingly.
Well, marijuana is legal in the state of Missouri.
Oh, devil's lettuce. Did not know you were going to go that direction because I was like...
No, I'm just saying that it happens to be legal in that place. And
tobacco, you mean?
I hope that it would move its way up here so that I could start smoking again since I have not smoked since I moved here.
Jesus. Oh, I totally feel you. It's very much a moment and a pleasure and a result all in one. It's what we live for, baby, okay? Like, shit is wild these days, okay? It is crazy. So, why not take a spliff? Take a hit.
When
Good
I lived
days.
in Cali,
get fucked up. You know, nobody's...
Just go wild.
Go wild. Go crazy.
When I used to live out there. It's Burning Man time, which is a thing that's happening.
People do it.
Yeah.
People get naked. People fuck.
They do.
And do drugs. Lots.
That happens in a lot of places, and it also happens at Burning Man.
Yeah. Surprisingly, yes. Maybe unsurprisingly.
There's a lot of cool... it's Burning Man time. And I honestly haven't been, like, scouring social media like I do to, like, see all the craziness. But I know it's got to be hot as fuck out there. Like, it's just hot right now. We're going through a heat wave. I don't know. You guys got a heat wave? We had a heat advisory yesterday. And it was like... I couldn't even think. It's different than California heat. It's hotter here. I don't know how. It's the humidity, but...
Yeah, I mean, Florida's kind of a humid place to begin with.
Ugh.
Something that I was talking to with a friend of mine the other day, and it's kind of strange because, like, we're both kind of, like, spiritual people, and we're kind of, like, a little bit out there. I mean, me and you were kind of a little bit out there, and that's cool and all. And... I was just like so fascinated with the idea. She was like, Florida is swampland. This was never meant to be land. And it's kind of like almost as if like you're in vacation mode 365 days a year. It's like very hard to like picture Florida than like a tropical paradise. You know, it's kind of like hard to like picture it as like a homey place. And it's like you kind of have to blame the weather. Like, you're almost experiencing the same weather as if you were on, like, the sea. I know that sounds, like, bizarre, but, like, imagine if you were on a boat in the ocean. That's kind of what Florida weather is like specifically down here in South Florida. I am done. Sorry.
I get seasick, like, pretty easy, so, like...
Holy shit, girl.
I'm not a huge boat goer. I will go on a boat, but I have to like take medicine and stuff, like so that I don't get nauseous. And then I don't know. I need like the waves. It's pretty.
Like the crashing and the sloshing. I love all of it.
I'm happy on the beach, like in a.
I'm too. Depends what kind of beach.
Yeah, it does.
Depends who's there.
I miss the ocean and I miss the beach. Like it's actually been. Well, I did get to see the ocean in Florida, so. Or
last year
beach. Yeah, this like December, January. So I was about to say it's been like a year since I've seen the ocean, but that's not true. Yeah.
You're in the parameter of a year, so technically it wouldn't be a lie. It would be a little stretch of the truth. I'm not helping the
I don't know.
situation.
I do really miss the ocean. It's funny that like people in Iowa are like afraid of sharks.
Yeah, I don't think that is a problem in Iowa. Like, that is definitely a problem here in Florida. We do have
You guys
tiger
got a
sharks.
shark
And
issue? You got any shark stories?
well, I've never I've seen baby sharks up front. They're so cute.
Baby
Shark
do
doo doo
do do do
doo doo,
do.
baby shark doo 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 doo.
Okay.
But yeah, baby sharks.
David Shark.
Like, yeah, I know we can go on for hours. Grandpa shark doo 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 doo. Grandpa shark.
Louis Shark.
Shark doo 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 doo. Louis shark. Twixie shark doo 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 doo. Twixie shark.
Twixie Shark.
Ooh.
But
My God.
like, do you have any shark stories? I have like none. All I do is quote things from Jaws.
Well, yeah, I mean, first off, it's one of like the greatest thrillers ever. And like, honest to God, it's the fact like you barely ever see it. But like, if you've ever, I've seen a great white up front, like, you know, obviously like behind a glass and all, but they're ferocious monsters. Like, you look at that thing and all it sees is food. Like, its whole realm and world is food. Your food. I will eat you.
I mean, I've heard people say that like sharks don't attack unless they're like agitated.
So certain sharks will attack humans, but particularly speaking, sharks will not attack humans. The cases where sharks have attacked humans is because they've mistaken humans. Because humans that are surfing will be in areas sometimes where seals are, and that's usually a particular thing that sharks will go after. So, you know, you throw humans in there and like the shark is just going to go after the human because it thinks like, you know, seal, human, same thing. Meat,
Yeah,
bone,
they don't
flesh.
really. Yeah, it's just squishy object.
Yeah, like, you know, they're not really thinking of anything else, but it's, my experience is kind of like not very exciting. It's very much like being in SeaWorld and then they have like one of the tanks you can go up to and they had a baby shark in there. First off, adorable. And you could feed it. It was kind of strange. Like, you couldn't like really touch it, but you were like allowed to like hang a fish like on top of it, you know, and kind of like watch it swim around. Like, it's kind of sad because, you know, they're not like in their normal environment, but
yeah,
they're surprisingly not as scary up front. Let me just put it like that. They're
like
only
not as
ferocious.
scary in person, like
No.
up close. Yeah.
No. I know. That's like kind of bizarre. But if you think about it, right? Imagine if Twix was the size of a lion. Do you think we would be as comfortable to have her in the house? Not really.
Yeah, it's because she's littler.
Right.
Same with this freak.
Can you imagine if Louis was the size of a horse?
He's a good freak.
Imagine the barking, like you would fucking blow out windows, like all the way down the street.
It'd be really intense. I don't think you'd be sleeping in my bed.
No.
Yeah, one of the reasons that I have him is because he's like, I can hold him.
Horse-sized Louis would definitely break the bed frame and the mattress combined.
That's like Clifford. Do you remember the Clifford stories?
Yeah, Clifford the Big. And you remember the cartoon series? That thing was on PBS.
Before we leave the shark conversation, I did want to say that my parents told me that when the first Jaws came out, people inland, people not even near water, were so afraid of sharks that people were afraid of the toilet.
I have one even better for you. My mom is one of those that were affected. My mom refuses to swim in the ocean and swim into the deep parts of the pool because of Jaws.
A swimming pool. I can't.
A swimming pool. I know. I know, right? Mortifying. My God. So what did you want to veer off from the Shark
Where was I
convo?
veering off to? I have no idea. All that's been on my mind all day long has been food. I just keep thinking about food.
What kind of food?
I just keep craving food.
Okay,
I just
you
want
gotta be
food.
like specific.
Cavatelli. I want pasta. I want baked cavatelli with
Whoa.
sauce
Oh
and
my
cheese
God.
on top.
Jesus.
Baked in the oven. Little bubbles of cheese on
Wow.
top. Yeah.
Okay. Girl, I see you.
You
I'm on your
asked
level.
me.
I know, I did ask you, and I love it. I want to
So-
make it now. Like, can we turn this podcast into like a cooking channel or something?
Yeah.
But while you making cavatelli?
I'm not going to make the cavatelli.
I would add prosciutto to the cavatelli. It's just an idea I would just throw
Sounds
out
great. Sounds amazing.
there. Or maybe pancetta.
Pardon.
Mm-hmm. Maybe a little like brie, you know? I'm sorry, like we both are foodies in like the most beautiful way ever because I love food. I just like love the combinations of flavors and textures, and it's just, oh my God. When you put that stuff together and it works, girl, when I tell you when it works, it's I just
One of the girls, one of my students was like talking about a TikTok that she saw of Dim Tai Fung, which is the place
you dim tai your fung.
That I think that's how you say it. But we
Okay.
used to call it DTF because it's
Wow.
it's the beginning. It's like each letter. It's an acronym.
That sounds like a sexually transmitted disease. To be like straight up.
DTF?
Yeah, you know, it's like you see it on like the list of like all the sexually transmitted diseases, you know, like gonorrhea and then DTF, you know, and then herpes.
DTF is down to fuck. You've heard that, right?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a sexually transmitted disease. Because, girl, you do not know what the fuck you're putting into your body. You're just like in the room with the bodies and the vessels, and you're like, fuck all this shit.
This
like,
is
I'm going
a
raw
David
dog.
fantasy.
It kind of is. For the longest time. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be straight up. Yes.
Did you see I got my hair cut?
I did. And the color, girl, I'm living for this.
I got my hair did.
Get your hair did?
It's been a long time, but I did. I got my hair did.
It turns out there's a kid in my class that is a barber.
Nice.
And it's kind of like hilarious because like all of us are kind of like geeks and nerds with cars. And then there's like some of us that are like in other professions, you know? And I kind of just like, I'm living for that. I really, really am. Sorry, go on. You were saying
he doesn't know that you do nails.
Yeah, that's true. Damn. You really go hard, girl. Like, you.
I'm like trying to go hard. I was just like, that's what came to my mind is that like you guys got more in common than I think. Like he doesn't know something about you.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of one of those, like, I gradually. I'm the type of person, like, you gradually get to know. I don't necessarily, like, blurt out my whole life.
I'm pretty quiet. Like, I didn't used to be. I used to just blab all over the fucking place, which is why I'm pretty quiet around new people.
They call me the tech person. Like, I'm the tech person in my group. And I kind of love that because that is cool. That is kind of like who I am in many ways. Like, I'm very much a technical person.
Mm-hmm. Like, you if this was like a Star Trek episode, you'd be wearing yellow.
Well, I think that's kind of where my fascination for science, like science fiction and sci-fi and like the extraterrestrial kind of stems from, is I love things that are outside of the box of, you know, like the laws of thinking. So that's kind of like why I'm going to like automotive school is, you know, kind of learning the mechanisms and components and the way things kind of operate.
No, I think it's really important.
In what way?
To focus on what gets your wheels turning.
Your like, mojo.
But like honestly, like I think it's really, really important to find your own personal interests and like interests that you want to like research and learn more about, and kind of like figure out what stimulates a person, like your own mind. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's very important to let yourself dive in to interests like that and like look for what stimulates your mind actively, instead of just turning on a television and letting whatever there is entertain you. You know, like, let yourself take direction of what type of interest and what you're going to look at, and different things like that. Like, I think so many times things are just like fed to us, and I think it's important to kind of like think like, well, wait, what do I actually want to see aside from what is just being shown to me?
There's a whole parallel and a whole other side to the way that we think and operate as people, because this whole idea of interaction and communication all stems back to one place, which is individuality, which is what makes us human, what makes us special and unique is all of the things that we can offer from ourselves that we're proud of. Kind of the idea of being able to do a trade, being able to have a craft or a form, like, for example, such as yourself, being in the makeup industry. It it not only makes you successful, but like you feel proud of yourself. You accomplished something that you wanted to do. You wanted to be a part of. You wanted to experience that. That meant something to your life and added value. That means something.
Yeah. But I mean, again, it's like following your interests, like following what really stimulates you. I think we as people are under the constraints of paychecks and bills, and it makes a lot of our decisions for us. But
And Bidenomics. Me love some
as
Bidenomics.
dude,
Sorry.
we can blame it on whoever,
I
but
know.
like it's just what it is to live here. Honestly, like, it doesn't matter who's in charge. Like, it's just, you're an American citizen. Like, everything you do contributes to the entire world now. So like, you have to work so hard that you're going to support the rest of the world. Like, my taxes, my job, they take money from me and they give it to the entire world. Me, I'm making money for other people that I will never meet across the entire world. And it's like, me, I'm the one doing that
I know.
with no choice at all. And nobody's doing it back. I don't have somebody from some other part of the world contributing money to me.
I
No, not at
I
all.
I think it's also really it's really hard to swallow the amount of cover up, secret operations, classified information, and what is the so-called confidential clause, where the whole stem and idea of government is for them to be on our side, and like not even being on a political spectrum or anything. When you're putting people in predicaments of financial stress, you're putting people in predicaments where you're forcing them to pick sides. When you're telling people to be a part of something where we are very aware as a country, we lack trade. Okay? I am going into an industry that lacks automotive technicians. There is not enough people able to fix cars. That is a fact. How do, like, I can tell you from my own personal experience, like, there are brands of cars that exist here in the United States that there is not enough people to be able to work on these vehicles. And there's just so many other things that need help. And it's not necessarily even, you know what, I'm not going to even say, you know what, I'm going to take the word back. It's not even help. It's a better understanding of, you want to do something, do it. It may not be like you're going to fucking change the galaxy. That's not what anybody's asking you to do. It's like, figure out what you can do as an individual, lack of all of the things that are going on, and making that decision for yourself. And making that your, like, you know, your sole goal and focus.
I know for some people, like, life gets in the way, and there is not
It can,
the
definitely can.
option, you know?
No,
But it's
right.
like, in that case, you just kind of hang tight, do the best you possibly can until you get to where you can make changes. And that is the most important thing that think people lose, is that sometimes you just got to hold it together through the shittiest part until you get to the other side where you can start to improve. Like, I think a lot of people are just like, now everything's like trash. It's like, yeah, just ride through it just a little bit. Like,
It's going to be okay.
I don't know. It really does take, maybe I would say, like 3 to 4 months to get over those humps. Like, if they're bad, you know, like, it's like you eventually kind of figure it out.
I remember
Um,
I heard a comedian from the 70s, and he said something that was, I think, was so beautiful. He said, "You know what's different about today's work environment compared to that in the 70s? Back then, all anybody cared about is, what do you do, and do you like what you do? Are you excited about what you do? Does what you do make you happy?" And the part of making the money didn't really matter. As long as you were able to make money to get yourself by, you know, you're able to survive. But as long as you had something that you loved, that was
yeah.
something that mattered. And
Well, there's a Alan Watts. He makes a quote. I'll see if I can find it.
ooh,
But I mean, he says that you're really supposed to strip away money completely, like, when making the decisions, which is like kind of impossible. But if you're in the situation where you can, or, you know, my old therapist used to say that it was sometimes important to fantasize, like, to think outside of the box, like, to let yourself kind of like dream in a world outside of your restrictions. And that can at least kind of help you open your mind to how you might get to making some of those changes. I think a lot of people get a little like bottled in and they're just like, you know, like, I can't do anything. But Alan Watts said something along the lines of like, strip away completely the concept of money and just follow passion and love. And if you do that, that passion will be such a driving force that it will eventually be successful.
yeah.
Like, because it's just such a driving force. I don't know if it's like, you know, like, legit, like, true, but
I
it
think it
has worked
is.
for me. I
Yeah.
wonder about the people who, like, their passion is a job that just pulls in billions.
You know what? True, but
Like, I'm like, what if you're Elon Musk and that was your passion? And
you know what? You know
like,
what? Honestly, like, my perception of Elon Musk is simply this: he is someone that has been able to be successful off of other people, not because he's not successful. He knows how to put pieces together, and he's the type of person that he's reached the type of wealths that he just cares about having fun. Like, I'm not even kidding. His company, Tesla, is just his idea of having fun with electric cars. His idea of going to Mars is just him having fun. You know, like, you can reach those levels. Most people will never reach those levels. However, it's kind of like, here's the T. You can live a really great life not making a ton of money. You don't need the fancy yachts. You don't need the Mercedes G Wagons. I know you love those BMW 330i's. Trust me, that lease ain't worth it. There are a lot of really great things in the world that is available to you at your fingertips. If you, like you said, you take out the money, it's important to be financially stable, but try to be able to understand, like, whatever you're seeing on Instagram, whatever you're seeing on Facebook, whatever you're seeing on social media, a lot of that's not real. You know, there's
I
so
don't
many.
know. So yeah, I mean the Instagram,
It's
the
fake.
photos,
Fake.
it what I realized is that people take pictures of two things for the most part. They take pictures of something they want or something that they own. So something that they want to own or something that they do own is what
Mhm.
usually gets photographed. And like I was like, okay, yeah, like but I was like, what is this epiphany? Like I was like, why does this keep circulating in my head that people take photos of something that they own or something that they want to own? Like, I was like, I don't know what that is, but it's, like, really weird. Like, it's some type of, like, ownership, like, show off what I own, what I want to make it mine. Like, it's just kinda creepy. Like, I was like,
I
I don't
know.
know. Like, I like Instagram. I think it should be used, like, in an artistic way. I think, like, it can be very self-expressive, like, different stuff like that, but man, like, there is something very possessive about it.
There is. It's very. We live in a very materialistic world. And I'm not necessarily saying that is a bad thing. It's how you. I feel it's very much in how you use things and how you interact with the world around you. I genuinely believe in the philosophy of you. This is just me personally. Like, you don't need a lot of money to be happy. I think being financially stable is important, but financially stable doesn't mean that you have a lot of money.
I mean, I think there's nothing wrong with, like, working hard and, like, saving for something that you really, really want and wanting to own that, like, I mean, I think there's something really beautiful about, like, my dad in the 60s, 70s, like, saving up his money from working at the gas station and going out to buy his, first car. Like, there was something very liberating about owning something. I mean, originally people wanted to own land. Like, I don't know, but there is, I don't, because I understand that, like, we don't have to really, like, own things, but because, like, the Native Americans didn't really need to, they could share and, like, live in community, but I do think, like, I know that with children, with adolescents, like, if you do, like, if you study, um, children don't usually own their own things, and it's like
No,
a
things
big
are
s
given to
well,
children.
they're given to them, but it's like they don't make their own money, so they don't get their own things, So, like, there's, like, a stage that they go through where, like, they'll have, $6, some money, like something from a birthday
Like an
or,
allowance.
an allowance. No, I never got an allowance. Nobody's just gonna give me money just to give me money. That never happened. Most people don't grow up with an allowance, as some people do. I have no idea. I mean, I think it could be kinda nice to give a kid an allowance because then you have, like, a limit. Like, it's like, "That's how much you get." So, like, try and kinda make your own plans with how much that is. Like, I get it, but I just feel like it's a big challenge.
It can be. I think it's kind of interesting because, especially like when we start to like have conversations, we tend to like go all different directions and avenues. And whenever you're dealing with like the human psyche and just the way that we think, because we're both talking from like personal experience here. I'm not just like talking straight out of the box. Like my journey to be able to go to tech school and the amount of money that it's costing, like that is a very big factor. But this is something that I want a part of my life. You being able to get that position, be an instructor, and be back in the beauty industry after like a period of you didn't know if that ever was going to happen again.
Well, it's not that I ever question myself. It's just like
You're there now, though.
sometimes the positions aren't
Available.
they're not available, like different things like that. I was talking about ownership of things, and I do think that people deserve to own things. But the problem is when people get overly greedy with what they do own, I think it makes all the regular ownership possibly less possible for like the regular person. Like I think like people over own things, and that's why regular people can't even, pay off their cars or have, a home or anything. I think
I
it's
know.
because of the other people with the greed that over own.
Isn't that interesting? It's such a deep part of us humans is greed. And it's almost as if like it's a hunger. It's this obsessive hunger.
I don't feel it.
I don't feel it. I don't. But there are people that do. The people that it's like an addiction. It's like taking the syringe of heroin and injecting it into your veins.
Somebody said to me, they were talking about like a family member, and they called their family member a dry drunk. And I like,
what?
Right?
What does that mean?
I was like, what? And she was like, well, he was an alcoholic and he doesn't drink anymore, but he still acts like a drunk. Like it didn't change anything. Like she was like, he didn't do the work.
He just stopped drinking.
He just stopped drinking, but he didn't like improve himself. And it's interesting because it's like, well, then how much of the problem was drinking? Well, it must have been quite a bit because like at least his life's going a little bit better. But like it was just like an interesting concept that I'd never heard anyone say, that he was like a dry drunk. I was like, how?
I know.
How what? Like, but yeah, I guess some people like they can quit drinking, but it doesn't fix everything. Like they're still kind of
So, here's what I have to say. Here's to a vacay weekend, Santa Barbara, on the beach, cavatelli with pancetta and prosciutto, both combined. All right. And just the idea and notion that, hey, we're in the moment and we're about to have some good fucking pasta. Oh,
dude.
It would be better in Italy, but yeah.
It's okay. I feel like seafood is what you get near the beach.
Yeah, I'm a very you know me and shrimp and crab. It's gotta be.
Dude,
king crab.
It's been a food
crab.
Day.
It has been a food day.
Talking about food.
I think on the next episode, hint, if you want to stick around for next week, we're probably going to talk about aliens in Atlantis. Just throwing that out there.
That is what we're going to do.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do. We haven't like recorded in like fucking forever because like I've been dealing with school and it's been insane.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and like you've been dealing with a new class and we're actually like turning into real adults over here, which I don't hate. I really don't. It's
doing some life work.
Yeah. And I actually like just like throwing that out there. I did actually like work on my car this past weekend. I did an oil change, and I changed like the brake pads and the rotors. And I was just like, this is awesome. I had so much fun. And then I washed my car and all of that. But anyway, any news? This has been absolutely fantastic. We love you all. We'll catch you on the next one. Chris over here, if you want to check her out on Instagram, you can find her at American Groove. Lost in the Groove, you want to check that out. I don't fucking post anything on social media, so good luck trying to find anything. But anyway, find us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube for the video versions of the podcasts at Lost in the Groove Pod. So with that, we love you all, and don't get into any trouble. All right, eat good food, have fun. We love you. Adios. Sayonara.
Deuces.
Deuces. Hey.